with this kind of technology. Very, very excited to be here. Very excited to be at the next stage of what this can do, because I think in 10 years, we're going to look back and go, whoa, that was the beginning. So really, really happy to mark this occasion and to welcome you all to this exhibition and to thank everyone who made this possible.
Thank you. Maybe we can introduce some of the virtual exhibition creators. DC, do you want to introduce yourself? Oh, and then we'll also share some of our other team who's on the call. Yeah.
Hi, everybody. My name is DC Spensley. I am in San Francisco, California. And it's not as gloomy here, but we are entering into our winter phase, which means the temperature drops about 7 degrees, and it may rain occasionally. Really happy to be here. Grateful for the opportunity to continue working in virtual worlds. I've been working in virtual worlds since 2006, and telepresence is my jam. I'm very happy to be working with Jack and Diane and Gustavo. A special thanks to Don and NewArt.City and their amazing platform and support. It's so great to be part of a platform that is growing and in the being stewarded very wisely in my mind. So thank you. I'll hand it over to Gustavo Rincon.
Thank you, DC. I wanted to thank Diana, Danielle, Carla, Jack, especially my good teammate at arms, DC, to make this happen. And of course, Don. You know, Don's been a champ behind the scenes, really helping us out. I'm a recent PhD graduate from UCSB, part of the Alisphere Research Group with director Joanne Cotram-Marin. I've been doing virtual worlds for a little bit longer than DC, but only for research and architecture. I think we came up with a really good collaborative process, thinking about real space and virtual space, telepresence. And I'm very happy to be here. So I'm very thankful. And hopefully you'll enjoy the space.
Thank you. Don, do you want to say anything about NewArt.City?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for having me here. Yeah, I'm Don Hanson, founder of NewArt.City. I'm a graphic designer, web developer, and internet artist. And NewArt.City was founded earlier this year when the pandemic hit, because all of these shows got canceled. Like, everybody was looking for ways to do shows online. And I created this prototype with really the intention of making spaces that feel like you're there at a real event, seeing other people in the space, enjoying the art together, having a place to talk about it and experience something in real time, because that sort of technology was missing from a browser-based experience. There are other ways to do it in other platforms, but the browser is really, in my opinion, the best way to do it and get people directly into the art experience very quickly, very easily. Yeah, and NewArt.City is growing. We are bringing on new artists and new collaborators all the time. And yeah, we have a lot of really exciting things coming up for next year. So keep an eye on NewArt.City.
Thank you. And then we have a couple of our artists in the space right now. And I want to make sure we introduce them, because this is also, I think, one of the first times that they've actually seen the space. So Soren, Craig, do you want to say hello and introduce yourself? You're the Nordic Award winner.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I just got into the space just now. And really great work. Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. Yeah, I don't know what else should I say?
That's fine. Look, this is the very casual opening, so everybody can ask questions or just connect, but at least they know who you are. We also have Julieta Gil, who's a Gold Award winner. Do you want to say something and say hello?
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm really excited to see the exhibition. I've just opened it up in my browser, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. And I really want to thank DC and Gustavo for all the support putting this together. And also just want to thank Carla and Jack, who have been, really great throughout this whole experience and have made the best out of the situation. So I'm really happy to be here and to see all of you.
I might add that Soren and Julieta, this is about you. You guys you've been awarded and recognized here, and Gustavo and I from the very beginning kept in mind that it is about you, and we're honored to be able to feature your work, and I'm glad to have gotten so close to it because I've looked at it every day for a couple of months here. So it is about you. So congratulations on your award. It's a delight.
Thank you so much.
It seems appropriate that if anybody especially we have so many people coming in from the EU, that that this is a time we should have some sort of toast. Before I do that, did I miss any other artists? Because I know people have name changes and I don't know, I see a lot of cameras off. So I want to make sure that I didn't miss any other artists.
We do have the person who made the Nordic Award possible in the room, Toril Haugen from Norway, Christiansen. And maybe you'd like to say hello from Norway, Toril, because it was her vision that allowed us to start this geographic award, which has meant so much to what we were able to provide here this year. Toril, can you say a few words?
Yeah, I'm just happy to congratulate you with a great event, and congratulations to Søren. Doug, really excited to see your work expressed in this way in the virtual world. So looking forward to seeing more.
Great. Well, that's fantastic. So I think what we can do is maybe Diana, do you want to lead us with a toast to open up the space and to say a couple words? This is our CEO for Leonardo.
Thank you, Danielle. Congratulations to all the artists and all the enablers and those who inspire the art and are inspired by the art. This virtual platform of NewArt.City is the fruit of actual collaboration that generates real impact in how we experience and explore each other's art. So I think that convergence of the virtual with the actual and the real is part of what we can celebrate with the digital art of Lumen. I thank and I honor Carla and Jack. I thank and I honor our friends DC and Gustavo. I thank and I honor our team Danielle, and I see Erica is here too from Leonardo. And so here's a toast to inspiring and continuing to inspire a regenerative future through this beautiful, powerful experience.
Cheers.
And Leonardo.
Yes.
Cheers.
Thank you. Well, this is a really open forum. Feel free to ask questions, especially since we have Søren and Julieta here. It'd be great time to explore their spaces and ask any questions you may have, or of Leonardo and Lumen Prize. And one thing I will say is that in each of the rooms, there's one area that shows that the artwork that was awarded the prize, and then the other room has some a video about each artist, and there's also some context associated with it, which are articles from Leonardo's archive that not necessarily are about the actual work itself, but about the context of where that this work lies in art history, in contemporary art history especially. So there's a little bit extra if you want to dive deeper into the theory and a historical context of each of the projects.
I just wanted to start out and say that it has been a pleasure dreaming, thinking, designing, imagining these artworks. You know, Soren, I was about to say, I love Soren's name because I redesigned his space probably for 6 weeks straight with DC. And we just used you as like, all right, we're going to make Soren into the prototype. And then everything kind of evolved. And, you know, one thing is I'm very clear about is this is a part of a future. And it's made by the will and the dreams of people. And so I wanted to thank all the artists because you guys made me dream for 2 months about beautiful work and how art can change the world. And I wanted to thank Diana and Danielle because you guys got me into this group. And it was because we did, I think, coffee and cocktails many months ago. And I was stuck in research, but I understand that we're a big community and we should help each other when we can. So I wanted to thank you guys for the inspiration.
Thank you.
There's nothing better than wonder. I think the capacity for invoking wonder and creating something brand new there's a great capacity for that in virtual worlds. I've done hundreds of exhibitions in telepresent space, and I've really, if you can't be there, I call it's an inversion of time and space. It doesn't take you any time to get to a particular space. So it's this really interesting condition, this digital condition. And here's how I sum it up. It goes like this: a simulated space becomes a real place when we're there together. When we can experience something. We just had someone log in from Brazil, and someone logging in from Brazil will be in this shared space with us in a moment. That telepresence to me is just, it fills me with awe and wonder. And I think that since we're fairly locked down in our world right now, we can open up and be together across borders and kind of live out something that we couldn't do in real space.
We just had Liliana Farber also join us, who is the winner of the Still Image Award. Liliana, if you wanted to say hello.
Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here with you.
Welcome. Thank you. We had a thank you, DC. Also, we also had a question from Suyash, who asked that how do you select the winners? This is a good question for Jack and Carla. So for those who want to submit next year, what do you look for?
Well, first of all, you can't win if you don't enter. So if you're an artist who creates with technology, get out there. What happens is we'll open the call. That'll be the 10th call for entries, the middle of February next year. Anyone, anywhere can upload. And we have two judging rounds. We have two judging rounds. The first judging round is by people like Danielle, curators, art experts who go through every entry per category. So every work is looked at by 4 experts in that field. Danielle's been brilliant at this stage because she loves giving comments, which is very helpful when we have ties. And that creates the long list of about 65 works. That long list then goes to an eminent jury panel of people in institutions like Christiane, Paul at the Whitney, Nathan Ladd at Tate, and we get the curators from institutions who are involved in this area involved. Ben Vickers from the Serpentine, these kinds of people. And there's about 5 of jury panel members, and they pick the shortlist and the winners. So we try to keep it as dynamic as we can. We'll be changing the jury panel this year a little bit and trying to keep it open. So anyone, anywhere can win, and anyone, anywhere does win. It's the amazing thing about Lumen is it's not necessarily people you will have heard from before, but they're people you will hear from in the future, and that's what's so exciting about it. Hope that answers your question.
I have a follow-on question that goes to people we haven't heard from before, but what we will hear from in the future, and that's to the artists, insofar as the work is inspiring for us. I wanted to hear about what's inspiring you, both what inspired the work that we get to see through these NewArt.City, but also what the process and experience is inspiring for you now, what might be coming next.
Julieta, it'd be lovely to hear from you.
Sure. I've definitely, with this work, have been more inspired to keep learning about feminism and going beyond making work that is about it, but really like thinking like this. I think another thing too is that I've been really interested in thinking about ways in which art and activism come together, and how the ideas of how we can work with digital spaces for this too. So a lot of this, and I mean, I'm just really inspired to see how people are kind of fighting for justice and raising their voices and producing change through this. And I'm just interested in being able to record these moments in time. A lot of them are not being shown. They're being kind of erased. And for me, it's such an important thing to kind of construct memory and to also imagine other futures. And in order to do this, you know, we have to preserve these moments, and virtual spaces are a great opportunity for this, because we can really protect these images that are not being shown in virtual spaces.
I wanted to make a note to Julieta, that anybody who visits the experience, when you go to Julieta's pavilion, please click on the Nuestra Victoria, the hexagonal button. It will take you to the what we're calling the secret room, which is a higher bandwidth version of Julieta's piece. And it's also in a pink background, as it was requested to be. But please don't miss that opportunity, because it's a little higher bandwidth than we wanted to put in the main group. So don't miss out on that, because the voices of the people involved, the women involved in this action, are written on the colonialist marble there, and you get to see that in this experience. So thank you.
I just wanted to jump in. I think Julieta's piece made me really reflect on our culture right now. Our culture of we're evolving into this new technology and really acknowledging old and new ways of being. So I've been reflecting on institutions of love, but also our institutions that I think fix hate, and not actually letting people that are underserved or underprivileged grow and to be empowered through knowledge. And I think Leonardo has made this one step, a bold step, to really anchor and to inspire people of less opportunities, means, to dream. And I think we need more dreamers. So I wanted to thank you, Julieta. I actually stared at it, loved the colors. I dreamed about it. I actually saw an action in Colombia where people were attacking a sculpture. They spray painted it, they hit it, but then they danced around it. And I think that's what, to me, represents that sculpture. There's so much emotion involved in it. So thank you.
Thanks so much for those words, Gustavo. And yeah, I mean, I hope more of this happens. I know that there's a lot of collectives that are doing these photogrammetry projects that are kind of trying to document monuments right now. So it's exciting to see how this is becoming kind of a collective action too.
On an interesting note, here in Golden Gate Park, I'm about, I don't know, 5 minutes away. We have a lot of the old colonialist monuments in Golden Gate Park. And there was an action here that took down some of the commanding general statues here in Golden Gate Park and spray painted a lot of them as well. Although I was a little nonplussed when the same group attacked Cervantes, who is kind of sacred to me in many respects, for Cervantes' fight against oppression and just stalwart decision to back the underdog. But it's all been erased now. At least the paint that was on Cervantes and Don Quixote, and I think the taking down those generals in Golden Gate Park was worth it. They didn't touch Verdi though. There's a Verdi statue there as well, but nobody thought to take out Verdi, so there must be some opera fans in there somewhere.
I just wanted to interrupt a little bit, but I wanted to hear a little bit more from Carla and Diana about the visions of Leonardo and Lumens, because one thing that I'm realizing is that a lot of our younger artists, even though they have a lot of energy and drive to make, they don't really understand the history or how to envision a more beautiful world with peace. I think I want to hear from the leaders right now what we can do as artists and activists and academics, scholars and professionals, how to move forward.
I can jump in by saying we have a student award that's free to enter, and we work very hard to engage with students. You'd be surprised how hard it is to get students to enter a free award. But by outreach every year, we learn more about programs that are supporting this kind of work. We learn more about what's happening at the university level and at the master's degree, oddly enough, more maybe at master's degree than undergraduate. So that's really creating a connection for Lumen that's hugely valuable, and it's grown. We have our third winner this year, and it'll keep on growing. So we're hugely invested in that. That's one area. The other area for us, we feel that we can reach out to another generation through social media, which is where so many younger artists spend their time. So that's been much more important to us. We started 10 years ago with Facebook. Don't forget Facebook, it's still there, but it doesn't feel like it has the dynamism. And then we moved to Twitter, and that wasn't quite right. And then Instagram seemed to be a comfortable home for engaging with artists all over the world and younger ones. I'm like, we should probably now move to TikTok, but you can tell by the color of my hair that it's not going to be me. So we're going to have to find that person. And then I wanted to say with Leonardo, the academic heft and respect that we have for Leonardo is only that partnership is only just beginning with this experience. So there's so much to go for in terms of creating that academic strength that will lift both boats. So on that note, I would hand over to Danielle.
Well, I think Diana was going to respond.
Oh, Diana, sorry, wrong.
Right.
Well, three things besides thank you, Gustavo, for that question, and Carla for those remarks. And I would invite Danielle to add as well, because the instinct is right to reach out to all of us for our voices. The first is that, as you may have heard me say before, Gustavo, for younger people and people of all hair colors here, I believe we have a corollary to add to Gandhi's adage and call to action. You must be the change you want to see in the world. And that's that we must see the change we want to be in the world. We must see the change we want to be. It's not enough to be clever. It's not enough to be more efficient. It's not enough to be even more effective. We need to be more creative. We need to be more impactful. We need to be more human, more humane. And that means, as I say again and again, becoming more regenerative, meaning be more generous, more genuine, more generative. I think that this collaboration is one example of how we do that. And it is the artists and the creative scientists and technologists who reveal that vision of the change we want to see so that we can be it. That's the first thing. The second thing is that one way we do this is by activating our creative community and sensibility, and awakening that creative capacity we all have in various degrees in different ways. So one of the things we're exploring is how there might be some sort of fundamental or elemental components of that creative process and practice. Creative, which would include creative content making, creative collaboration like this, creative connectivity and communication, creative critique, and creative contemplation. And putting critique and contemplation, yes, in the mix of the creative process, together with collaboration, connectivity, and content generation. And we can all think about where and how we engage there. So whether it's with the partnerships that, yes, we're only just beginning between Leonardo and Lumen, or the many other partnerships we invite and honor around the world, or within our own personal spheres of influence, those are creative practices that are accessible and free to all of us, and we need all of us to engage. Thirdly, my colleague, Natalie Nixon, whose recent book, The Creative Leap, talks about what creativity means and why we need it now, defines creativity as something like the combination of, or how we toggle between wonder that DC was speaking of, and rigor, wonder and rigor. And I think that the academic heft that Leonardo brings with the creative spark of our community and our partners and the artists and enthusiasts here represent that combination we need to invite and invoke more between wonder and rigor.
Thank you, Diana. And thank you, Carla. Those were really inspirational and important messages to share with everyone. I wanted to also note that we just have another one of the award winners join us, Richard. Excuse me if I don't say your last name correctly, and please correct me. Vision, who is the 3D Interactive Award winner. And if you want to say hello, and if you have anything you want to mention in this forum, please feel free.
Hi, good to be here. I have to say I just joined. I was putting the kids to bed, so I missed the first part, so I can't contribute much now.
Oh, Richard, just say a little bit about yourself and the work. We just want to hear about you.
As introduced, my name is Richard. I'm an artist and data visualization designer. And the work that I submitted to Lumen this year has been a visualization of the radio spectrum that comes from an interest that I have in sort of finding new images for all the abstract technological sort of infrastructure that is increasingly surrounding us and underpinning our daily lives. And finding languages for understanding and experiencing this sort of technological dimension of reality. So a lot of my work is about that.
Thank you. Great. I want to also invite some of the other artists that we really haven't had a chance to hear from. Liliana or Soren, do either of you want to say something about your work? Go ahead, Soren.
Yeah. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah. Don't be shy, Soren. Don't be shy.
First, I just wanted to say to Gustavo and DC, I've just had some more time to cruise around the space in there, and I really appreciate it, especially the kind of loom pylon in the middle of the room. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, so my work is a jacquard woven textile called 2000 Fleurs, 2000 Flowers. So the way I think what I can say about my work now that hasn't maybe already been said is that I think even though like art and technology is kind of a new frontier, I think there is still so many things that kind of loop back to things of the past. So for example, I got the very first inspiration I got to make the piece was years ago. I was in Ravenna in Italy, and I went to see the mausoleum there. And I think there's even a picture of it in the video in my space, which has these star formations made in mosaic. And of course, the way that mosaic images and the way that digital images are made is kind of, yeah, they're built out of pixels. So I just wanted to make that connection. I made the work together with a friend of mine, Jonathan, who in his regular job works with robots that test airplane wings. So for me as well, it was on the personal side kind of interesting to have a long-time friend suddenly be part of my art practice in this way. So I think for me, it's definitely a lot of room for further investigation in terms of utilizing programming in making images. So yeah, hopefully there's a lot more to come from me. Yeah, and thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah, if anybody has any questions, of course, I can always
And
answer.
also to mention that Soren, and I have to take a look at the list of who's speaking on Tuesday, but there will be some other artist talks with I think actually several of the ones that are in this room right now. They'll be speaking on Tuesday as well. So you'll have another chance to see the show and then hear from them again, and then also ask some more questions. But feel free to just speak up and ask questions to all the artists and the creators of the space as well. Liliana, do you want to say something?
Sure. So the work that I'm presenting in this exhibition is Terra Mim Aspecto. This is a series of phantom islands, which are bodies of land that existed for many years in maps, but at some point they were proven to have never existed in reality. And I recreate these islands as satellite photography through a machine learning algorithm trained with images from Google Earth. And as Soren was saying, these new technologies seem the new frontier, using exact same words, but they are taken from older paradigms. And I am interested in a data visualization, in how manipulative can they be through the process of designing algorithms and classification of data. And in the case of Google Earth, I am interested in how many of the data, the geographical data, is recycled in a way from other maps, and you can trace it back to maps with several problems. And so I'm interested in bringing that to light and seeing how it sort of challenge the beliefs that we have in satellite photography, in platforms that define a unified way to visualize the world. And specifically, maps in history have been tools of imperials, and just trying to create a connection how the imperialistic forces of new technology companies, in this case, Google.
Great. Thank you.
You know, I learned in art school, I was big on critical theory at the San Francisco Art Institute, that all tools, and since I am an artist technologist, I'm acutely aware of this, all tools have ideology embedded in them. And I am always wary for the ideology and for the unspoken direction that one gets from these kinds of tools. And I loved your work, Liliana. I want to go to those islands, and you know, I like to surf, so there you go. Hopefully, there's surf on some of them.
Thank you. And anybody else want to share or have any questions?
I see Sue. Sue's on the call. I wonder if she wanted to say something. She's always someone that I see everywhere, which is really cool. She inspires me a lot. But I wanted to say one thing, that that a lot of the process, there's over 100 years of experience from the team that made this space. We talked at length for so many hours. I think we talked for, I don't know, like 2 or 3 hours one day. And then I had to go back and read, research, look at theory, understand my practice, sketch, design, dream. And it wasn't all perfect. Like, we rubbed heads creatively, and that's also what's important. Like, we have to be compassionate and kind to ourselves and our ambitions. And I realized that this place is for us as a community. And I'm very interested in making this a much stronger, more vibrant community. And thanks again. Sue, do you want to say something?
While we're waiting for Sue, hi Sue. I just wanted to jump in with a quick question, Gustavo and DC. What are you most proud of in this amazing world you've created in NewArt.City? What's the aspect that we should all look at and go, oh my God, I can't believe that they did that? Because from our point of view, it looks very natural. Like, it should be a world that we can explore. But I'm wondering, from your point of view, what was the mountain that you climbed that you're most proud of?
I think each one of these projects is a unique design challenge. And I think what I'm most proud of personally is 2 things. Number one, the ability to unify the 2 organizations in the corpus of the work, to unify the people, to find a new collaborator, a close collaborator in Gustavo, and also to nail down and extract from whole cloth a motif, a way to serve the needs of the organizations, feature the artists, but also be artful in doing so. And I think that I think is the and not too too proud. You know, we're like, once again, we're aware that this really was not about us. This is about featuring the organizations and the amazing artists that have received the awards. So that's what I'm proud of.
All right, so I guess I'll jump in for DC. So I'm going to humble brag a little bit. So I think DC is an incredible artist and human being. I think that it took a lot of us collaborating, and I think Danielle match made us creatively. We talked a lot. He became my brother for the last 2 months. It was strange. I felt like I had someone to talk to about problems with, health, family. I think that's what these projects sometimes do, is they bring you closer together as a human being, compassionately. What you see in the space I'm proud of is that it's natural. You can click, you can look. I was very agnostic about, I guess, style. But what I wanted to do was to bring out the best in us as a team. So Jack lent hours of his time, Danielle lent hours of her time for us to be better together. And I think that is, to me, the mission that I found so lovely about the Leonardo community and actually my colleagues. And I'm not sure if you're aware, community, but this is also a research project. A lot of this stuff was not made. This was willed by DC. This was willed by a lot of us thinking together and dreaming about how people would want to move around and explore. So this is a function of his research and his vision as an artist. And I think our will together to create. And I wanted to say my background is in architecture, and I am a researcher at the core. So I did want to make this a little bit more, let's say, more abstract. But what I do understand is that communication is universal. So the art needs to speak, and that was our first and foremost function here. Is we want the artist to speak, and if we can spend, I think the website is up for a year. I'm not sure, Danielle, but if it is, I would invite you guys to stay in one of the pavilions for a day. Just put it on your screen, put it on your big TV or computer or phone, and just have it in for a day. Ponder what's going on there. I lived with all of them for 2 months. So it's like having beautiful books or art or being in a museum. So I grew up in Washington, D.C. next to the Smithsonian. It's beautiful to be in that museum. And I felt beauty and wonder and awe, and I smiled for the first 5 minutes. It was beautiful. And that's what I like, is the smiling.
Well, that's another thing, G. The idea that what we're doing is we've created some sort of a hybrid between publishing, a video game. It's many things at the same time. It's a museum. It's a exploratory space. It's a heuristic world. I think that's another thing. It's such a thrill, is to be able to work in this, because the one of the successes in this was being able to categorize it as an exhibition catalog, and to push the idea of the exhibition catalog into the 21st century, and to make an exhibition catalog that anyone can see, anyone can walk in into. I've experienced in so many platforms and so many virtual worlds, and what's cool about this is you just walk in this one. You don't even have to pay the cover charge like you would at the Met or at the Tate or whatever. You walk in, you're there, and suddenly you can see all the artists. So what is it? We're trying to figure that out, actually, and I think if you guys have comments about how things work for you, and what you think, please feel free to share, because I think both of us are very close to this thing at that point. So feedback is encouraged.
I just wanted to jump in quickly. We don't know what this is, but we do know that it's a part of a future. And I guess that's why I always ask questions to the people that are heading these organizations, like, what is our future? We need help. We, as in our community, needs help. And you have power, vision, and you have a view of the land that we don't. And we want to help as much as we can. This could be the future of publishing, the future of media. It could be the future of museums, for all I know. But what I do know is that all of you guys made this possible. So thank you.
Yeah.
Could I jump in here, if I may? Graham Diprose, I co-chair EVA London conference. And we have EVA conferences that are run around the world. Got them in the moment in Jerusalem, in Europe, in Singapore, may have one in Melbourne again, and so on. And we've been fortunate enough and honored enough to work with Carla and Jack for the last few years. We had a Lumen long list last time that we could all get in the same place together and view things together. But I think one of the things that's come out for us is that we're very excited that we can actually have online things happening around the world. We held a recent conference here in EVA London in November, and we had people in Melbourne starting off at 12 o'clock London time, and people in Tulsa at 5 o'clock London time. And the folks in Melbourne were having their cocoa at night time, and the folks in Tulsa were having their first coffee of the day. And we actually found it very exciting that that was a new way of working for us. And all I'd really like to add is that anyone here who might like to actually check out EVA London, I'll leave the website up on chat. And if you'd like to have your work published or be part of us, what is obviously coming out of this, and this is really what I want to pick up on Gustavo's point, is that online is going to continue. If you can't make it to London and hang out with us as part of the British Computer Society building, never mind. We will have online days in places like our EVA London conference, along with being able to get together and work with people face to face for many years to come. And that's really the change that this has brought. And it's a sort of wonderful change in a really shit way.
Great to hear from you, Graham. It's in case anyone doesn't know, EVA is electronic visualization of the arts, and it has a storied history almost as long as Leonardo's. And it's been a real honor to work with you, Graham, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Graham. That was a great comment, and please do share that resource in the chat. I wanna share something from one of the comments that this is directed towards Julieta from Amanda. Can you talk a little bit more about the history of the monument you documented? What did it represent? What does it represent with graffiti on it? I think that's a really critical part of the concept of your piece.
Sure. The monument is the monument to the independence of Mexico, and it's mainly the most important monument in our country. It's a very symbolic space, a space where many people gather whenever there's a celebration, or it's also a space where there's this old tradition where when women turn 15 years old in Mexico, they wear these really huge dresses and go there to take photographs. And it's also a space for kind of political gathering, when society here gathers to protest against something that they don't agree with. But what's interesting is that it's never been touched this way before. And this happened back in August of 2019. In Mexico, just to give you context, 10 to 11 women are killed every day because of gender violence. And it's gotten to a point that it's systemic, and it's you know, women are tired of it. And this protest occurred because of violence related to police. And when this happened, you know, everyone, it was very polemic because this monument had never been touched before. And so the first reaction from the government was just to cover it up. And nobody really got to see this. But what's really, I don't know, controversial from the other side about this is that this act of covering up, again, kind of repeats this idea of nothing is really happening, you know, everything is fine. And instead of kind of wanting to talk about the situation and work together, the reaction here is always just like cover the monuments up so that nobody sees these complaints, you know? And I had the opportunity to go in and do this documentation a couple of weeks after that. And this was thanks to other women who work within the government and who kind of secretly allowed me to go inside and document it, because, you know, it was so controversial within the government that not even they were allowed to kind of publicly say that this was happening. So in the end, I think this project is about showing something that this country doesn't really want to see. And I think it's important for us to see this image until we can, you know, do something about it, and understand too that monuments have to represent civil society. And the moment that they stop representing us and that we find no relationship to them is the moment that society will take them. And this is what's happening here. And I mean, other than this, in terms of like the symbolism within it, there's many layers. It's interesting to see that it's a monument about the independence, and the characters that are in it, all of the men that are portrayed in this monument are actual like real figures that, you know, were present in history in this fight for independence. Whereas the women that are portrayed in this monument are just these myths, these heroines that represent symbols, but they're not actual like real women that were present in the fight for independence. So it's interesting to see how, you know, this kind of keeps repeating, and these like patriarchal models that have existed since way back maybe don't represent us anymore. And I think the feminist collectives, at least here in Mexico, have been doing like a great amount of work trying to fight to end the violence. And the moment that conversation is about vandalism and monuments being destroyed instead of bodies being destroyed, I think it's a big problem too. So a way for me, like, to show this image is just a way to confront the situation.
I'd like to add, it's also a beautiful, impactful, aesthetically stunning piece of work. And it won for both of those reasons. It won for its politics, of course, but I don't think I've ever seen in the history of Lumen 5 stars for 5 judges straight across the board. She doesn't know that, I just told her. Keep it to yourselves. But it was unbelievable. The jury panel just reacted to it from its visual impact. So you're downplaying yourself as an artist a little bit, Julieta, but maybe that was because of the question. But please keep in mind that this is a fine art prize. We hadn't set up Lumen for political reasons. We set up Lumen to find the best in this field, and that was you. And that was your message, and that was what you could create. So really well done.
Thank you, Carla. I mean, to add to that, I think for me, it was just important to kind of elevate this image and make it, you know, as beautiful as possible, because that's the way I see this movement. And so I think that's what drove me to kind of really reconstructing this 3D model, which was like hours and hours of work of putting together all of the parts and stitching it back to a single element, and then finding this kind of illuminated space where, illuminated virtual space where it could live.
Oh, I was about to say, I saw like Graham posted a picture of a screenshot. So one of the ideas behind the space is that it should be photogenic at any angle. So please, if you're inspired by the art or if you're inspired by the space, please take your screenshots, pictures, take your phone, do selfies. It's supposed to be fun and supposed to involve the family. So, you know, have fun.
I would also say that we did a performance piece in near the Bull in New York in Blue Mars. When they closed it down, there were people protesting in the Occupy movement some time ago, and they forbade people to actually do that in front of the stock exchange. There's a bull there that represents many things, actually. And we did an intervention in a virtual space called Blue Mars, where a couple hundred artists logged in and in that location. So they can't stop us from doing things virtually. Now they could pull the plug on the internet or whatever, but there's so much internet out there. I don't know if you guys know the history of the internet. It's designed that it will stand up to authoritarianism or to whatever. It was designed actually to withstand nuclear war, and one node can get blown out and then the rest of it still remains. So this is just like the Arab Spring and these other movements are happening in virtual space, and that's where they can't take your monument. They can't cover you up now, Julieta, because I mean, I guess that's your intention of creating something that they can't cover up. And forgive me for commenting on that, but it's really important, these borders we cross in these virtual spaces, and these alliances that we can make between cultures and nations that supersede national ideologies.
Anyone else want to share, or any of the other artists want to talk a little bit further about their work, or anybody have questions about some of the works that are in here? We have some of the artists here today: Liliana Farber, Julieta Gill, Soren, and Richard, and I think someone else. Did I miss anybody? So I did. Please let me know, because there's multiple screens. Okay. Well, this is again an open forum to just sort of connect with each other and see and experience this together. There's also a chat function in the actual space itself. I want to also mention at the beginning, for some of you who came in a little bit later, in each of the spaces, there is a couple different readings that you can actually go deeper into how the work is placed in contemporary digital culture, contemporary art, new media history, and it has some excerpts from some of journal articles from some of our scholars that have published with Leonardo Journal over the years. So I encourage you all to, as you're really exploring and diving into the work itself, I have also a time to read and get a little context of its cultural relevance. These are using emerging technologies, but there's a lot of concepts that are connected to everything. And I think each of the works is incredibly strong conceptually, and also with its way and approach with digital technologies. So very incredible pieces out there, and each of the works is even further than is designed in a way that pushes it even further than its original entry. As an example, there's really great ways to, for example, in Surin's exhibition pavilion, you'll see that you can actually interact with the actual loom itself, which is really an amazing experience, and how the sound sort of changes and moves around depending on where you're at. So I really encourage that type of exploration.
Yeah, you can walk into the loom, by the way. So if the walls, the walls are not solid here, obviously. So you can walk directly in and be inside the loom, which is very special to me. The whole idea of a jacquard loom is they think it's so connected to the beginning of digital art and of digital technology in general. The first jacquard looms were programmed with cards, and I think Soren, can you do you have anything to add to that, or did you have any focus on that in your research?
As you say, there's a clear connection there, and I think a lot can be said about that. Like you talk about the punch cards as well, and I think it's I talked a little bit about sort of the aesthetics before. So I think in terms of the technology, there's also an interesting sort of some kind of loop going on in a way that, first computers come from this binary punch card systems and the jacquard looms, and I'm sort of making visual things exclusively on a computer. So for me at this point, it's kind of hard to say like what is sort of what comes before what. In a way, that sort of evolution has been sort of turned around a little bit. But I mean, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Great, thank you. Anyone else want to share or have questions about that? Or
if I may, I'd just like to say that this has been really lovely tonight, and for us in London to be able to talk to you folks all over the world in different places. And thank you so much to Carla and Jack for setting this up with you folks in Leonardo. It would be lovely if we could do this every couple of months or so, rather than waiting once a year until we have the next Lumen Prize. Perhaps I'm being greedy, but this has been huge fun tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jack, do you want to say something about the coming artist talks and share a little bit about that? Because we will have the space open for quite some time, so that we'll have some programming that is connected to this, and feel free to share this with others as well. The space is open every day, and we'll have some programming in connection with it that will allow to even have even further dialogue.
I think Jack might be doing some childcare at the moment, but on his behalf, I can confirm that the first talk will be on the 8th. There'll be another one before Christmas, and then actually there'll be 3 before the holidays. And if you are a subscriber to the newsletter, the Lumen newsletter, you'll get all the info. There's also a sign up for a newsletter in the space, and they will also get the information. So in addition to these 3 artist talks, which will include all 9 artists, by the way, so all the artists are going to be involved. In addition, we're working on a program of what we're calling at the moment curators tours. So these would be tours which would take someone around through the chat function, obviously, or maybe on an associated Zoom call. We're trying to figure it out at the moment, but this would involve people who might be new to the whole idea, who might not be involved in art and technology, but might just love art and want to see what we're doing. So if you have people who might be interested in this opportunity, educators, academics, writers, anyone you know who you think might get a little, get excited about something or learn something or want to try something new, please let me know, Carla at Lumen Art Projects, or Jack know, Jack at Lumen Art Projects. And we'll be putting that program up in the next couple of weeks, because we find that there's quite a lot of people that are still a little bit nervous about coming in. They want to know, but they're worried about that they might do something wrong or they might miss something. So we thought we'd set up this opportunity for people who are new to this concept. And so I just wanted to mention that as an idea. Oh, Jack's back. So Jack, if you wanted to add anything, do you have the dates for the artist talks in front of you?
Yes, so we're hosting the first artist talks on the 8th of December. And we're doing 3 sets, so the 8th, the 15th, and the 22nd of December are when we're having the artist talks. Lumen's wonderful Sophie will be the moderator for these talks. I think I've been away for a little bit looking after my little baby, but I think I overheard Carla mention the idea of giving guided tours around the space. And I want to pay homage to the NewArt.City team here, because the reason I was always so excited to work on this platform is that it's highly accessible. You know, there's some platforms where there's more to get through to get to the art. But what's beautiful about NewArt.City is you go to a URL and you're right there and you're in it. So DC and Gustavo have worked incredibly hard to make this as friendly as possible to anyone as possible. So tell your friends, tell your fans, tell your family, tell any other groups that begin with an F. And we look forward to sharing this space more widely. This exhibition will be running for several months at least, and we hope to bring new discussion, new ways of thinking through what Lumen can be in the future as well. This is the first time that Lumen's done everything virtually. It's always a great challenge to try and curate 9 very different works into a space, but working virtually, it's no less of a challenge, but we make that environment. So off into the future, into next year of Lumen, we'll be 10 years old. It's a big milestone, and hopefully we'll be able to do something similar again if we're all still friends at that point. So we'll see. It's an exciting time.
Oh, I wanted to bring in Erica, because I've been working with Erica now for a few months, and she's awesome, but I would love to hear from her.
Thank you. You're also awesome. Hi, everyone. I know several of you and not all of you, so I'm really excited to make your acquaintance. I'm Erica Ruby, the editorial director at Leonardo, and I've not been terribly involved in this project, but I am so very excited that we're able to collaborate with everyone and the artists and the creators and Lumen folk. I do want to let everyone know about Leonardo Journal, which is our flagship journal. It's how Leonardo as an organization started back in 1968. We have a print journal, Leonardo, and I have one of the very first people in the world to have in my hands our Leonardo Music Journal that just went on live last night. We have 6 issues per year. This Leonardo Music Journal, it's our 30th volume. We are retiring it now this year. This is the final one. Go order it now at MIT Press. So starting next year, all our music and sound art will be in Leonardo Journal. And there are many artists and authors here today and names that I recognize. So I'm really happy to see you, see your real faces. So we have lots of opportunities for artists to publish with us. One opportunity that I would like to extend to the winning artists or any artist who would like to be published in a quick, timely manner is we have 1 or 2 page artist statements that are put at the top of the queue for publication. These are meant to be fast turn, and if you are interested in publishing your work in our journal, please reach out to me. I can put my email address here in the chat, but it is editor@Leonardo.info, and I look forward to hearing from you and collaborating with you and building our relationships. So thanks Gustavo for calling on me.
No, I was about to say, Leonardo Journal makes a really good gift. I have quite a few, and I also have a nice book collection. So I would love to maybe receive a beautiful collection of them. So if you have a lovely friend, get a few of them and fill their stockings.
We have a sale coming up next week, 50% off all journals at MIT Press between the 8th and the 10th this month. You just have to go there, no code needed. It's taken off automatically in the shop cart. Tell your friends, buy journals, and spread the love.
They have awesome stickers too.
Thanks for all these plugs. I'll put some links in. Always grow the network and support, and I'll share with some of that stuff with you. I also want to recognize that we have a large support team that's also here with us today. Christiana Kazakau, who's been working on helping us get the word out about this event. Also Sophie and Madeline from Lumen Prize. So I want to thank them as well for all their support and collaboration in helping really realize this project. And again, this is a super casual space. Also feel free to talk about and ask questions, any of the concepts or the projects that are related to this particular exhibition. It's going to be up for quite some time, and this space is really informal. And if any ideas you want to share or feedback, we're also here to listen to you. And I want to thank everybody for really connecting in to this exhibition space, especially for the artists whose work really is pivotal in this part of this journey. The producers, DC and Gustavo, worked tirelessly for hundreds of hours to make sure everyone had the best experience. And I personally feel that way, but definitely give us feedback on how your experience is with this.
Daniela, what's the best way to give you feedback?
It's a good question. You can just send me or Jack an email. So I'll post my link in there, and then you can just send us a note, and then we'll all kind of get it. I don't think we have
I just thought it would be really useful for my MA students. They're doing their final exhibition, to look at different ways to, collaborate and, so.
Yeah, definitely bring your students into the space. I think it's a really important aspect. I mean, over the last several months, I have been I've shown in several virtual exhibitions and have attended virtual exhibitions, but I think this one really felt quite a bit different. Maybe I'm biased because I was so involved in it, but also because of the thinking through not just the way the artworks are connected, but how all the visitors are learning and experiencing with it. I think that has a lot to do with the creators, and also with Don from NewArt.City, who's really been incredibly supportive. This is a grassroots platform, by the way. This is not developed by any major company. This is open, like a really new and emerging for artists by artists platform, which is what we were really trying to support. And similarly, when we're working on thinking about how we connect with you and how we support artists, really trying to adopt and support emerging technologies and platforms that are created for, with, and by our community. And Don, do you want to say anything else about NewArt.City?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, Sue, you were mentioning that it may be useful for your students, and NewArt.City is open to proposals. We have a contact form on our website, and you can always get in touch with me with ideas for new shows, because we have kind of a lot of bandwidth. We have like infinite digital space that we can spin up for these kind of projects. So just shoot over a proposal, and we can make shows.
That sounds amazing. Can you put the link in the chat or something? I don't know. It's been a long time. But you know, well done for doing it. And even back to Isaiah, that was in 2020 this year in October. It seems like a lifetime away. You know, it was all virtual, and you know, positively talking about Eva as well. We had 1,500 people involved in that, one way or another, which is way beyond our normal. You know, by the time people get on planes, pay their registration and go to a hotel, it's a lot of money. This is a new opportunity, I think, to engage with students and academics and artists and curators and all sorts of things. Really, well done.
Hey Sue, if you'd like someone to appear and talk to your class, I'd be happy to do that. I've got experience on a lot of platforms, and I'd be happy to share, because it's very exciting, and I think I can transmit some of that excitement to your students as well.
I mean, the trouble at the moment, as you know, in the UK, we're in a really bad way, and they're shipping students back home, and I don't know when they're going to come back. So the course is still online, but I've kind of sort of moved it down a little bit. So after Christmas would be really useful, actually, but it's up to you. I don't know, because Daniela was saying it was up for a while. Yeah,
it's up for quite some time. You can do it next semester also. Okay. I mean, it doesn't need to be in the next, I think for those who are part of university calendar, usually think around the 18th of December is when everybody spits off, but there is opportunity to do it post, and definitely.
But in the UK, we adopted your semester thing, but ours is the end of January.
Okay.
Yeah, just to make life difficult for everybody.
I wanted to say, Sue, thank you for speaking. I wanted you to speak because when I met you a few years ago at ICEA and Gwangju, it was very lovely to be exposed to this new community. Like Leonardo has another community, but it seems like we're stronger together. And I know Don has made a platform. What if we made ICEA a virtual city online that we would have all year-round exhibitions? Why don't we dream a little bit bigger and try to get a whole world of art?
I'd like to sleep at night. I'd like to sleep at night.
I know, but that's where someone like Don, he's a new generation, and he's a pioneer in this technology. And
don't sleep at night.
Yeah, exactly. So but there's a lot of love and a lot of will.
Some of us in other generations don't sleep at night either.
That's right. But I mean, this is the space we get to talk about that. We get to dream.
And some curators with brand new babies don't sleep either, I hear. So that's
No, I think that's why I said it was a long day. I started off with Isaiah, I don't know, and the university. For my sins, I'm a health and safety officer. Doesn't make my life easy. But anyway, that's what's happening in America and all over the world, really, aren't we? We're locked in somewhere.
We're locked in, but we're here together, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the thing, really, is that there is a community. And in fact, I've just had an email from Roger who was talking about some alliance with something other, and another one from UNESCO who are interested in creative cities and things. You know, there are more and more people who really actually just want to be together, you know, and we can support each other rather than being isolated and trying to compete with each other. It seems absolutely stupid.
Yeah, that's definitely something that we're working on leading with communities from all over the world. Even yesterday, I was having a conversation with Starts about how we're gonna how to actually really strongly connect our networks and other networks that are not represented on this call, especially outside of the EU, which are really critical. So bridging our international partnerships from Isaiah to Ava and others that we don't know of, making sure that they're here and they're available and present, and that we're really thinking outside of just ourselves, but we're connecting to support how to humanize technology and how to really think about some of the world's wicked problems in the way that our artists have been doing, and the artists who are represented here on this call are doing, and thinking about moving forward together rather than separate.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we can learn from each other's experience. I will have the final report from Isaiah, hopefully very soon. And I can tell you, what they felt worked and what they felt didn't. And to be honest, they turned it around so quickly. I mean, I was there this time last year looking at physical spaces, talking about, well, how are we going to do it? And then everything just escalated, Yeah.
So maybe you want to say something for those who don't know what Isaiah is.
Okay, Isaiah is an international symposium on electronic art. Has been going since the early 90s, and it used to be a big biennale, and now it's annually. And it's a symposium, that includes arts and science, and it goes to a different country. We're very nomadic. So the next one will be held in Barcelona, and it should have been next year, 2021, but because of Pau, who is the curator of the exhibition and the director of Isaiah in Barcelona, really wants people to come to Barcelona. So there'll be a sort of pre-event in Barcelona in 2021, but the actual symposium will be in 2022. And then in 2023, we will be in Paris, hopefully. And I'm tired, I can't think of how to explain it, but it's a real opportunity, particularly when it is physical, to see work all over the city and to meet with people and, listen to papers and artist talks and going to workshops and things, It is an incredible event, and certainly the organizers in each city that we've been in, have been absolutely magnificent. And I say the one in Montreal, did work really, really well. So I really would like to see you one day. Danielle, you've been to Isaiah, haven't you?
Yeah, and actually DC and I showed at Isaiah in 2012 with our game that we did across Albuquerque, Montañas a Mesas. But yeah, I've been to a few of Isaiah's, but it's always really great fun, especially being able to navigate the whole city, which is really valuable.
And it's never the same. It's never the same because it's never in the same city, And it is really great working with all the symposium hosts. It's something that that I will remember. I've been my friends like Daniela and Leonardo and Lumen and Eva as well. Yeah.
I just wanted to do a quick plug for ICEA. If you haven't done it, one of my collaborators, Liliana Gallegos, is on the line, and she's doing something for LEAF, the Leonardo Educational. Help me, Erica. I'm starting to get lost, but I'm sleep deprived.
Education and Art Forum.
Yes. So we're looking at continuing this publishing, dialogue, research, art. But ICEA was so wonderful. Please sign up. Like totally awesome. Hey, it's a good weight loss plan if you're working 20 hours a day, because that's what I did for 2 weeks with my PI. I had the best food in Korea. So wherever it is next, please go. I'm
Barcelona.
not trying to sell out, but I love it.
Barcelona, then Paris, and then I've got 3 bids for Isaiah 24, which is Taiwan and Taipei, Shenzhen in China, and Brisbane in Australia. And we don't know which one's going to tick the box.
Yeah, well, I definitely want to bid for the Isaiah Virtual World conference. So
yes,
whenever that happens, let me know.
Sue, do you choose the Isaiah locations based on cuisine? Because we had some great red sauce and green sauce in the in Albuquerque. in Barcelona and Paris. Are you kidding me? Woohoo! Can't wait to eat my way through those towns.
Yeah. No, I'll make sure that's included in the review thing. You know, it's, you're going to get food. It was funny being in Guangzhou, and I arrived there quite early, and I thought I'll go out for dinner, and nobody would allow me to sit down at a table. And what I didn't realize is that because they serve it fresh in front of you, you need at least 2 people, and I was only 1.
Oh, well, I would have eaten with you, Sue, but I had my crew.
Yeah, I found somewhere in the end, you know, and obviously the board turned up, and I wasn't that lonely. And I sometimes just quite like just sitting on my own reading a book, you know, especially after a long flight, you know, it's kind of clear your head.
Well, I think one thing I wanted to say is Leonardo, before the pandemic hit, and right when it hit, Leonardo started this group called Coffee and Cocktails, and I was stunned and traumatized with research. But as soon as we got together, I realized that was a healing moment. I actually became stronger knowing that I wasn't alone. And Isaiah did the same thing. I never imagined there were so many people like me, eclectic and a little weird and a little foodie and a little fun, but I had the best time. And I'm saying that because I've had the best time with Leonardo as well. It's so much fun just to be a part of something bigger than yourself.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sue.
No problem. I'm going to have my tea and then go to bed and start again with more ideas. Yeah, and the university, which is great fun. As I expect all the people who are working in universities are having great fun as well, really. Just need to keep the academics and the students safe. Yeah.
Thank you, and thanks, Gustavo. And this is really because we're a fabric of people, right? Everyone who's on this call is part of the community, and whether you just joined today or you've been with us for a long time, this is we're quite inclusive and definitely always open to helping support and grow your research, your work, your interests. And I'm really excited to work with the Lumen Award winners to help support you in as many ways as we can as well. I know that the work that you've put together is a manifestation of a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of time, and it really shows because I mean, it was a quite competitive field, but it's all really fruitful. And I think that getting to learn and understand your work even deeper, especially now having this virtual experience when we couldn't have done it necessarily in person, means a lot as a curator and also as somebody who wants to support this type of work and movement. So did Jack already log off, or is he?
He's got to go eat dinner. He's starving.
Okay. All right, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure he had noted, but I know it's hard for him.
Those of us in the GMT time zone are all flaking because of our dinners.
Well, you know, we can end this a little early. I just wanted to keep the room open in case anybody had any thoughts or questions. But this was supposed to be a pretty casual, soft opening, and I encourage you to come back later on, especially next week, next Tuesday. I think it's at around the same time, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. British Standard Time. Is it? And then in another time zone, I compare it. I don't know what time it is wherever you are at. And then we'll do, especially the Tuesday, the forthcoming Tuesdays, we'll have every Tuesday till the end of the year, artists talks, and you'll be able to really hear and meet them more. But please do share this exhibition with everyone. We really encourage you to do that. You can go into the chat and save the chat. So you can see some of the links that we share with you and get to know some of our organizations a little bit more, and really connect back, and feel free to connect with each other in the space. Again, there's a chat room in the space. You can change your avatar name, and you can actually get to hang out and know each other a little bit more. So use this as an opportunity to build upon the community. So thank you everyone, especially Carla, and especially the production team for creating and making this happen. This is really an exceptional exhibition with incredible artists, and I want to thank all of you so much.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you so much for hosting.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you, everyone.
Oh, and DC has offered a virtual tour. Did you want to do that now, or do you want to do it?
Well, you know, I'd be happy to do it anytime, but if for folks who want to do that right now, we can do it. Although I do caution you, the bandwidth that sharing the screen in Zoom, it might slow down the performance a little bit. But otherwise, I'd be happy to do a walkthrough if anyone is interested in that. If you're interested, please have a show of hands. Okay, there we go. That's Gustavo and I can do a virtual walkthrough.
If you want to go, you can. But if you want to hang out and have a virtual walkthrough, please stay on. And I'm handing it off to DC to do that.
Okay. Thanks, Danielle. So I'm going to share the screen now and see if we can get into this space and not have it split the bandwidth up here. We'll see how that goes. And here we go. We should be in the space right now. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Push that even further. Okay, and I'm going to reinitialize this and just plop back down into the lobby and do it right. And we'll drop down into the experience this way. So, and this is where you might adjust your audio, and how you would do that is hit your escape key. And I'm going to adjust mine a little bit because I think it's a little bit loud. Also, you'll note right here there are instructions for those of you who are not gamers. Now, gamers will know that the WASD arrows or the WASD keys and the arrows will move you around. You can also jump. And to look around, just use your mouse or your trackpad. And to escape, if you want to leave, and also quick chat, you can also quick chat down here by hitting your escape key. And to get back out to the experience, to simply click on anywhere behind you in the black area. And I would recommend headphones, particularly in the case of like Tupac, and a lot of the exhibitions are a lot of the experiences. We spent quite a bit of time with the capability of audio, and it's really lovely to experience audio in this experience. And then this just gives you some ideas on how you can navigate. We spent, one of the things we wanted to do is make sure that people had lots of options for navigation and no barriers. And that's the general idea. So the hex gates, as you see, are the video, the videos in the background here on these spheres. And those will take you directly to the artist pavilions. Also, if you're more of a point and click person, we have a lovely navigation kiosk here, and you can click to go to any of the artist pavilions directly. Or if you see this, and you'll see this in the pavilions, you can return to the lobby through that. So here, let's go to, we will go to Liliana Farber first. And Liliana is the Still Image Award winner. Also iterated in this space is, more of the tips and tricks. And it does that too. And it was actually good fortuitous for us to discover the idea of the hexagonal motif here. Whoa, that's. Did I mention that this is a live medium and that unexpected things might happen here? And what we've done, and if you find yourself going through the walls here, like I just did, note that behind each one of these pavilions is an escape route. You can always go back to the lobby there. And I'm going to back up since I know to do that. So what we did was we split the artist's work up into two sections. One is more of a biographical section here, where Lumen commissioned a 3-minute video for each artist so they can tell you about their work and about themselves. And as you get closer to it, you'll notice that the audio, I'm not sure if you can hear the audio through the Zoom, but there is audio coming through as you get closer to it, so it doesn't spill into the other areas. And these are the Lumen abstracts that we've included in this area. These artists are many storied, which is really great because art is really about ideas at this point in the 21st century, and I love the idea of sharing the actual critical information about the artist in this space.
Where's your credit on the screen?
And here is, and I'm not going to linger too long in this. We'll just breeze through each of the artist pavilions really quickly. And this is fascinating, charming, and also willing these things into existence, these land masses and these. And I can almost feel and hear the people who live here, or if they're inhabited, or the animals or the birds or whatever. It's interesting. And let's do this. Let's go up to the kiosk here, navigation kiosk, and we'll select another artist. We're going to go to Julieta. And dropping down into the pavilion. And the pavilions are they're uniform, which was a decision that we made to kind of take ourselves and our own sensibilities and feature the work. It's a little more generic. Both Gustavo and I are lend ourselves to more of an abstract view of this world, but we really didn't know. You have no idea of who is going to visit this, and we wanted to make sure that the artists were featured, and it wasn't really about our own abstract sensibilities. And although we will be doing some things like that in the future. I think Gustavo and I are not quite done collaborating. I'm happy about that. And then also let's go to and this is what I mentioned earlier, the going to Nuestra Victoria, the artwork itself. And that's the cool thing about being born digital, is you can have the actual artwork exists in here instead of a reference to the artwork. And this is, I want to congratulate Gustavo on this. He did quite a bit of work to make this, to realize this sculpture in this space. And
DC, can you talk about when you scroll, sometimes you see little text? Like, what is that text on the bottom?
Well, that's it. Thank you, Gustavo. That's really, I neglected to do that. But you can also click this and read more about the text. And this is a function of the NewArt.City. And it saves us the to have to include didactic signage. in a museum, you have these little white squares all over the place, kind of an artwork unto themselves. And in this case, if you're looking at the artwork and you're not cursored over it, you just see the artwork, and that's really what you want. But if you cursor over it, you put your little hand over it, you can actually see, get more information and read that at a glance. What I like also about this too is you can get inside this and explore that way. And so, so I'm just going to go back to the beginning of the Siembieda pavilion, drop back down into this, and use our navigation kiosk. Going to the Soren's room now. And once again, I'm going to skip over the biographic section because this really calls for some drilling down. You know what I mean? It's one would I recommend people just pause here a little bit, watch the movie, learn about the artist, and then look at the read the some of the critical explanations about each artist, which is that Leonardo has provided. And I like this platform is really good because you can get fairly close to things. I'm delighted to see so much detail in the threads on this available. And then this is a born digital aspect here that is let's climb in here. Like now, if you're in this space, literally, if you have your sound on, you can actually hear the loom. I'm hearing the loom. It won't come through on Zoom as far as I know, but there we are. We're in the middle of a jacquard loom, which is not something that you can say happens very often. I'm sure that would be very comfortable. So we'll go to the next experience here. And Ellen, the XR award winner. And we have a little bit of slowdown here, nothing terribly onerous. And see, and the walkway up to this maybe seem a little tedious for me doing it so quickly and over again. But I think what it does, it serves to slow down the viewer to a degree. And help you orient. We didn't really want to drop people into something that disoriented them. That's a bad user experience. And this is we were definitely going for a positive user experience. And this is very cool. You get to inhabit this video. And the sound in this is amazing. You can see those tiny ball bearings. The beads are making an interesting sound and have a relationship to the animations. Fascinating artwork, and amazingly well presented by the artist. The artist is has done a great job there as well. Okay, so we'll go to Christian Mio's work. And this is another kind of born digital, but ended up physical, actual, born digital to actual, which is the transit between the digital and the actual is definitely something, one of my theses in working in virtual worlds. And this is the actual 3D geometry that was they worked quite quite a bit to get this actual object in space here. Now it might seem like, oh well, it's fairly easy, but this was the way this was derived was from many different objects and the artist's process. You can see in some of the videos that explicate that process.
I just wanted to say that what's really wonderful about this is that we were considering not only the virtual object and the design space, but really exploring what this meant. And I loved the curatorial decisions that were made by the group, and DC was, pivotal in trying to make sure that there was a story that was made. So, I mean, I really enjoy this room and sitting here too.
Well, I think narrative is critical, and that's how you you kind of place situate an artwork is with the narrative in my mind. And speaking of narrative, the Tupac Martyr, his Tupac and the studio are responsible for some of the most compelling mixed reality works that I know about. Although the performance is a little sluggish because once again we're mediating this through a Zoom window. Zoom is also already a fairly resource intensive experience, and then we're putting that same browser experience in here. But you'll notice though that each of the pavilions has subtle differences. Like in this situation, there are information buttons here that you can that you roll over, and it tells you what's going on here. And you can step on these footprints or hover over these footprints, and the audio is tuned very finely tuned, not to spill. So each one of these audio environments is unique. And then there are these memory spheres that the Tupac team requested, and and it just so happens that NewArt.City had the facility to do this, to create these spheres, and it was a great opportunity that kind of fed right into what the capability of the environment was. And then there's Casey Reese, one of my favorite artists in new media, and Casey's debuting a new collaboration between Jan St. Werner and doing something fairly new for, here we go, it's doing a runaway train thing again here. Let's see if we can, whoop, there we go. All right, let's go back into the, and that doesn't happen terribly often here, but like I said, we're hogging all the bandwidth here through Zoom. Probably won't happen to you. This is Casey Reese's compressed cinema. And once again, the audio situation is fairly finely tuned. Casey was very specific about his requirements. And in fact, a lot of Casey Reese's requirements went into, we just folded them in the presentation of the other viewing rooms as well. And for some reason, there's no kiosk right there. We'll make sure there is one a little bit later on.
I just wanted to say one of the things that DC and I were considering, we were looking at architecture space, like real gallery space versus virtual space. And what you're seeing here is a subtle blend of gaming, narrative, virtual worlds, and like exhibition design. Like it was very wonderful to have those dialogues. And it's so nuanced that I just wanted everyone to kind of take a look at that if they feel it.
Well, that's it. That's where we live here. That's a little bit of little slow performance there, but nothing that's really stopping the experience. And I think Richard Wiggins' experience was one of the biggest challenges for me conceptually, to figure out how to reimagine Richard's work in a way, because it's about audio. It is an important audio environment component, but it's also about data visualization, which you mentioned earlier. So, this bears some more time spent than I'm certainly able to give it right at this moment. And then there's Leah Wah, who is the student winner, Lumen winner this year. And Leah Wah also has I think it was her submission was the video that talks about it's alternately in Mandarin and in English. And these are a series of drawings that she did just on the in the development of the piece, kind of explicating each of the little dream moments that she's invoking. And once again, if you want to know a little bit more about Liuwa, her biographical video is right here. I would think, though, and she's brand new. She's a very young artist, so not quite as storied yet. But I guess this is the beginning of her story here, or one of the beginnings, anyway. So I'm going to pop back to the lobby and just take any questions. If anybody has any questions about how things work, or why we made the decisions that we made, or how to get a better experience, I'd be happy to if I can answer any of those questions. I'm Gustavo, also here to do that.
So we're getting close to the end of our scheduled time. So you could also reach out to us or DC or Gustavo with further questions.
I just wanted to say that this is a start of a wonderful collaboration, and even though the technology is, to me, is beautiful, we're at the beginning, and I think working together, there's an architectural community. I see O'Neill Leach here as one of the people looking. I'm a part of a group, Digital Futures World, a bunch of wonderful architects and researchers wanting to use their skills. So I can imagine a whole new generation of researchers living and being in this space. Thank you.
We had a question from Olga, who asked about including avatars of the visitors. What did you think about including avatars?
The avatars of the visitors, that's a function of the platform. There are many rich avatar spaces. I work in many of them in Second Life and OpenSim, and the avatars are available in that situation. In NewArt.City, the focus isn't on the avatar. It's more on your experience as the avatar, and right now there's not a lot, and that suits me. But I do know that from my experience in other platforms, that avatars are fascinating for people, and they tell a lot about a person. There's a whole there are volumes of research about that. Like, for instance, I know in a lot of the spaces that I'm involved in, it helps to eliminate these things like race and gender, because it highlights the new choices, or the choices that people have now, to identify or not be identified. So Olga, the choice of your avatar is very minimal in NewArt.City, and that's one of the things that I think they had to sacrifice to be able to make this available in a browser experience. And I think that's really the key. It's at this point, bandwidth and technologies won't allow to have a rich avatar experience as well as a rich environmental experience. So that would be my answer to the question. You might also pose that question to Don in NewArt.City and get his views on it too. I'm sure he'll have another take on that. I don't really speak for those guys, just so you know. I speak well of them, but don't speak for them. And hopefully, Olga, that answers your question. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen here, unless you guys have any requests. Would you like me to do anything in particular? Or well, looks like we have. I'm not sure how many people we have in attendance here.
I think we're about time right now. But I want to thank everyone for coming in and staying with us so long on this call. But it's been super cool and important to see DC your tour through this space. I think this is really critical to have you really share that with us. And come back on Tuesday and hear some of the artist talks. And if you can't come next Tuesday, come the following week. Tell your friends. The space is open from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. your time, wherever you are in the world, and come in and visit and send us your feedback and bring your friends, students, curators, collaborators, and connect with Leonardo and Lumen on our prospective sites. And hopefully you'll we'll see you again really soon. So thanks everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Danielle and Carla and Gustavo, etc., and to all of the amazing artists that we had the honor of presenting here. This would be DC Spensley from San Francisco, better known as the Coyote. See you guys again soon. Contact me if you want to walk through individually, or if you just want to talk about it, or you want me to talk to your class. I'll be happy to do that. You can see I'm terribly shy.
Thank you, everyone. Great time.
Take care.